Welcome to Solution Architecture Design. Today we will design a complete SAP BTP solution architecture. This means planning how all cloud services work together to solve business problems. For instance, integrating SAP S/4HANA with SuccessFactors for real-time HR and finance data flow. This structured approach ensures your solution is robust, scalable, and meets all requirements efficiently. You will learn to select the right services for your needs. This means identifying which BTP tools solve specific business problems effectively. For example, if you need to automate invoice processing, you'd choose SAP Workflow Management instead of Analytics Services. Mastering this ensures your solutions are both efficient and cost-effective. We will create clear diagrams to show how everything connects. This means visually mapping how different components interact, like showing data flow between systems. For instance, illustrating how a mobile app connects through BTP to an on-premise SAP system. These diagrams ensure everyone understands the complete solution architecture at a glance. This helps build scalable and maintainable solutions. This means your system can grow with your business and is easy to manage. For instance, using microservices allows you to update one feature, like a payment process, without disrupting the entire application. Adopting this approach ensures your investment remains robust and adaptable for the long term. Why architecture design matters for enterprise success? Good design ensures your solution can grow with your business. This means building your system to handle future needs, like more users or data, without costly rework. For example, a scalable e-commerce platform can manage both 10 and 10,000 customers seamlessly. Investing in solid architecture today prevents major disruptions tomorrow. It makes maintenance and updates easier. A good design organizes your system clearly, so you know exactly where to make a change. For example, if a tax calculation needs updating, you can modify that specific service without disrupting the entire application. This organized approach saves significant time and effort. The phrase is, helps avoid costly changes later. This means good design prevents expensive fixes after a system is built. For example, choosing the right identity service early prevents a complete security overhaul later when you add new applications. Investing in architecture upfront saves significant time and money. The bullet is ensures all requirements are met efficiently. This means designing a solution that fulfills all business needs without wasting resources. For example, properly integrating a new e-commerce app with your existing SAP system avoids creating costly, redundant data silos. A good architectural blueprint is key to achieving this streamlined, cost-effective outcome. Understanding architectural patterns for enterprise solutions. BTP uses common patterns to organize services. This means it provides standard, reusable blueprints for structuring your applications and integrations, making development more efficient and consistent. For instance, a common pattern is using event-driven architecture to automatically notify other systems when a customer order is updated. Adopting these patterns helps you build scalable and robust solutions on the platform. Think of patterns as proven blueprints for success. This means they are reliable, pre-designed solutions for common technical challenges. For example, when integrating to systems, you would not build from scratch each time, you'd use a standard integration pattern. This saves time and reduces risk, letting you build on established expertise. They help you arrange services in logical groups. This means you organize different BTP tools, like databases and apps, into clear, related sets. For example, you could group all customer data services into one logical unit and all financial reporting services into another. This grouping makes the entire system easier to manage and understand. Patterns make your design consistent and reliable. This means using proven solutions for common problems, so you do not have to start from scratch each time. For instance, using a standard pattern for user logins ensures security works the same way across all your applications. By following these blueprints, you build solutions that are predictable and robust. Step 1. List your core business requirements. Start by writing down what your solution needs to do. This means clearly defining the tasks and outcomes your application must achieve. For example, a simple requirement could be, the app must allow sales staff to check product inventory from their mobile phones. This initial list becomes the foundation for every technical decision that follows. Think about data storage, user interfaces, and processes. This means deciding where your data lives, how users interact with the app, and the steps needed to complete tasks. For example, a mobile sales app stores customer data, displays product catalogs, and handles order submissions. Clearly defining these areas ensures your solution meets real business needs effectively. Consider who will use the solution and how. This means identifying the specific people who will interact with your application and understanding their daily tasks. For example, if you are building a sales app, the users are sales reps who need to quickly access customer data on their mobile devices. This focus ensures the final product truly supports their workflow. Keep your list clear and focused. This means writing down only the most essential needs, avoiding vague or overly broad items. For example, instead of improve sales, specify enable mobile order entry for the sales team. A well-defined list ensures your SAP BTP project addresses real business priorities effectively. Step 2. Matching requirements to BTP services. Look at each requirement on your list. This means taking your business or technical needs one by one. For instance, if your requirement is to send automated notifications, you would examine it and find that the SAP BTP service SAP Alert Notification is a direct match. This methodical approach ensures you select the right services. Find BTP services that can meet each need. This means identifying which specific BTP offerings address your project's individual requirements. For instance, if you need to store user preferences, you could use the SAP HANA Cloud Database service for secure and scalable data management. By doing this, you ensure every requirement is covered by a suitable service. Use the BTP cockpit to explore available services. This means you log into the web-based BTP cockpit to browse and see all the different services offered. For example, if you need a database, you can find the SAP HANA Cloud service listed there. This hands-on exploration is the best way to understand what tools are at your disposal. Note down which services fit which requirements. This means you should actively document the specific BTP services that address each of your project's needs. For example, If you need user authentication, you would write down SAP Identity Authentication Service. Keeping this record is essential for building a clear and accurate solution architecture. Exploring BTP services in the cockpit. Open your BTP cockpit in a web browser. This means logging into the central, web-based console to manage all your SAP BTP resources. For example, a developer opens it to create a database for their new app. It is your starting point for accessing every service. Navigate to the Services section. This is where you find and manage all available tools, like databases or AI capabilities, for your applications. For instance, to add user login to an app, you would come here to enable the SAP Authorization and Trust Management service. This central hub is essential for building your solutions. Browse available services by category. This means the cockpit groups services like databases, analytics, and security into logical sections. For instance, if you need to add user authentication, you would look under the security category to find the right service. This organization helps you quickly locate the tools you need for your application. Click on Services to see what they do. This means selecting a service in the cockpit reveals its specific function and capabilities. For instance, clicking on the SAP HANA Cloud service shows it is for managing high-performance databases in the cloud. Understanding each service helps you select the right tools for your application needs. Common BTP service categories for enterprise solutions. Database services for storing information. This means BTP provides managed database options, so you do not have to run your own servers. For instance, an app could use SAP HANA Cloud to securely store and quickly query customer order history. These services handle the infrastructure, letting you focus on your application data. Application development services for building apps. These are tools and frameworks that help developers create custom applications efficiently. For example, using the SAP Business Application Studio to build an employee onboarding app. This category provides everything needed to develop, test, and deploy your solutions on BTP. Integration services for connecting systems. These allow different applications to communicate and share data seamlessly. For example, connecting your on-premise SAP ERP system to a cloud-based SuccessFactors HR system for automatic employee data updates. This ensures your business processes remain unified and efficient across all platforms. Analytics services for reports and insights. These services help you collect, process, and visualize your business data to make informed decisions. For instance, a retail company can use them to analyze daily sales data and generate a report on top-selling products. This transforms raw data into actionable business intelligence. Security services for protecting your data. These are tools that help keep your applications and information safe from unauthorized access. For example, they can manage user logins and control who is allowed to see specific data within a company app. Using these services is fundamental for building trustworthy and compliant cloud applications. Plan service connections for your SAP BTP solution. Think about how services need to work together. This means identifying which services must communicate to complete business processes. For example, your application might use SAP HANA for data storage and the SAP Launchpad service for user access, requiring them to interact securely. Proper planning ensures these integrations function smoothly from the start. Identify which services depend on others. This means determining the order in which services must be created and connected, as some require outputs from others to function. For example, an application needing user authentication must connect to the identity authentication service first. This planning prevents errors and ensures your solution works smoothly from the start. Plan data flow between services. This means defining how your applications and services will share information. For example, a mobile app might send user data to the SAP HANA Cloud database for storage, and then the analytics service would read that data to create reports. A clear plan prevents errors and ensures all your services work together smoothly. Consider security when connecting services. This means verifying that only authorized applications can talk to each other and that their communication is encrypted. For example, when your app accesses a database, you must use secure credentials and not expose them in your code. Always treat every connection as a potential entry point that needs protection. Creating service dependency diagrams. Start with your main application or process. This means identifying the core system or workflow you are focusing on first. For instance, if you are building an online store, your main application is the e-commerce platform. This central element will guide you in mapping all connected services and their dependencies effectively. Add services that support it directly. This means including only the services that your main application immediately relies on to function. For example, if your app needs user authentication, you would add the SAP Authorization and Trust Management service. This focused approach clarifies the essential technical dependencies for your solution. Connect services that need to communicate. This means linking services that exchange data or trigger actions between each other. For example, connect a CAP application service to an HANA database service so your app can store and retrieve data. This ensures your solution components work together seamlessly. Use simple shapes and clear labels. This means using basic boxes, circles, and arrows to represent services and connections with their exact names. For example, use a rectangle labeled SAP Build Apps pointing to another labeled SAP HANA Cloud. This clarity prevents confusion and ensures everyone understands the architecture at a glance. Keep your diagrams simple and focused for effective communication. Simple diagramming tools you can use. Use PowerPoint or similar presentation software. These tools have built-in shapes and connectors perfect for basic architecture diagrams. For example, when mapping a simple order-to-cash process, you can quickly drag and drop shapes to show system interactions. This method is fast and accessible for creating clear, understandable visuals during planning. Try free online diagram tools. These are web-based applications requiring no installation that help you quickly create visual workflows or architecture diagrams. For instance, you could use one to map out the simple data flow between your SAP system and a BTP extension. This approach makes initial planning and communication effortless and clear. Keep shapes and lines simple. This means using basic forms like rectangles and straight connectors, avoiding complex icons or decorative styles. For instance, When diagramming a simple order-to-cash process, use plain boxes for each step connected by straight lines. This clarity ensures your diagrams are immediately understood by everyone. Use consistent colors and labels. This means always using the same colors for the same elements and the same text labels across all your diagrams. For example, always color SAP systems blue and label them SAP ERP. This practice makes your diagrams instantly understandable and professional for everyone viewing them. Planning for future growth with SAP BTP. Design your architecture to handle more users. This means building your SAP BTP solution so it can easily support a growing number of people without slowing down or crashing. For example, an online store's system must perform smoothly for 10 customers or 10,000. Planning for this scalability from the start ensures your business can grow without technical limitations. Plan for adding new features later. This means designing your solution so you can easily expand it with new capabilities without rebuilding everything. For example, when building an app, leave room to add AI chatbots or analytics dashboards later. This forward-thinking approach saves time and cost when your business needs evolve. Consider how updates will affect your design. This means your solution should handle new SAP BTP features without breaking. For instance, if a new security update is released, your app should integrate it smoothly without a major redesign. Always build with future enhancements in mind. Leave room for expansion where needed. This means designing your solutions to easily accommodate future growth without major rework. For instance, when implementing a new application, provision slightly more memory and storage than currently required. This foresight ensures your system can scale smoothly as business demands increase, saving time and resources later. Review your architecture design. Check that all requirements are covered. This means verifying your architectural plan fulfills every business and technical need. For instance, if a requirement is for secure user login, ensure your design includes the identity authentication service. A thorough review prevents gaps before you start building. Verify service connections make sense. This means checking that each service you connect is necessary and correctly configured. For example, connecting an application to a database for data storage is logical, while connecting it to a print service is not. Always ensure your connections are purposeful and secure. Ensure the design is clear and understandable. This means your architecture should be easy to explain to others without confusion. For instance, a simple e-commerce app might use BTP for user authentication and a database service, with a clear diagram showing how they connect. A clear design prevents costly errors and streamlines development. Get feedback from teammates if possible. This means sharing your architecture design with colleagues to gather their insights and suggestions. For example, after drafting a CAP application, ask a peer to review it. They might spot a missing security check you overlooked. This collaborative step helps strengthen your design and prevent potential issues. Putting it all together. You now have a complete solution architecture design. This means you have successfully connected all the BTP services, like application hosting and data management, into a single, working blueprint. For instance, A mobile app could now securely pull data from your SAP system and present it to a user. Your foundational design is ready for implementation. You can select appropriate BTP services for any requirement. This means BTP offers a wide range of services, so you can pick the exact tools you need to build and extend applications. For example, to add user login to an app, you would choose the Identity Authentication service. This flexibility ensures your solution is perfectly tailored. You can create clear service dependency diagrams. This means visually mapping how your SAP BTP services connect and rely on each other. For instance, in a mobile app, your app might depend on authentication, which in turn relies on the user account service. This clarity helps prevent failures and ensures all parts work together smoothly. You are ready to build scalable, maintainable solutions. This means you can create systems that handle growth without breaking and are easy to update. For instance, a retail app that smoothly manages 10 or 10 million users. You now possess the foundational skills to confidently develop such robust applications. Your next steps are to explore and engage further. Practice creating architecture designs for different scenarios. This means sketching out how SAP BTP services connect to solve a business problem. For example, design a system where a mobile app uses BTP to securely read data from an on-premise SAP system. Building these diagrams is the best way to turn concepts into practical skills. Explore more BTE services in the cockpit. This means actively logging into the platform and browsing the service catalog to see what's available. For example, you could discover a database service to build a new application backend. Hands-on exploration is the best way to understand how these services can solve your specific business problems. Try building simple diagrams for your own projects. This means sketching out the main components of your application and how they connect. For example, draw a box for your mobile app, an arrow to a box for your BTP extension, and another arrow to your SAP S/4HANA system. Visually mapping it out makes the architecture tangible and easier to discuss. Remember, good design makes everything easier. It means planning your SAP BTP solution thoughtfully upfront to avoid complex fixes later. For example, designing a clear data model for your app prevents confusing errors and simplifies future updates. A solid foundation saves you significant time and effort in the long run.